All right, so there's been a lot of chatter about the MPC, whether it's going to be a new one or not. There's a lot of them that are not on the shelves anymore, and they're not really selling like the MPC X and like the MPC Live 2. So there's a lot of chatter about that. But I also get questions about these MPCs and if you should get you a hardware synth knowing that they have sounds inside of the MPC. And today I'm going to give you guys some reasons why you should get one and why you should not get one. So let's go ahead and get to it.
Bolo!
Before we get started, are you guys trying to build your studio but don't have all the money right now? Well, if you're trying to do that, you might want to go ahead and click on my link in the description and head over to Zounds.com. Zounds has a whole bunch of stuff on the site, and they have a whole bunch of stuff on the site that does not require a credit or background check. Meaning, all you have to do is order it, they will ship it to you, and then you can just make monthly installments while you use your stuff. Now, it's not everything on the site, but it is a whole bunch of stuff on the site that you guys can get right now by clicking my link in the description and heading over to Zounds.com. So why wait? Go ahead and get you some gear today. Yo, did you know Analog Cases made a stand that can fit the Hydra Synth, the MPC Key 37, and the MPC X Special Edition, and the MPC X too? They're the same size. Yeah, Analog Cases has just added a new stand to the already popular XTS stands. This stand is called the XL stand, and this thing is dope. This is a professional stand that is made for professional users. And this thing will protect your gear because it is made from 100% solid steel. And even if you put a mid-size keyboard or your MPC X or your MPC X Special Edition, this thing hugs those machines just like a glove. These stands are adjustable, so they're not one size fits all. If you want to make them smaller, you can. If you want to make them wider, you can do that as well. And these stands have ample clearance for all your cords and cables as well. So if you're looking for a really dope stand for your mid-size keyboards and for your MPC X or MPC X Special Edition, go ahead and click my link in the description and head over to Analog Cases and get you the new XL stand today.
All right, so let's go ahead and dive right into it. We're going to talk about why you should get one. Number one, the sound of the synths. I love how these keyboard synths sound running through 1/4-inch cables into pre's and stuff like that. The sound, number one, is incredible. And a lot of these synths, even though they're digital hardware synths, they really do sound good. They sound exceptionally well, and they're much cheaper than what they were years ago. Okay, like a flagship synth back then would run you some major dollars. These synths right now, you can get a lot of these for under $3,000, $2,000. This particular synth costs a little bit more because it's the EX model, but you can get the Roland Phantom 06 for like $1,500, $1,400 right now, and it basically does the same thing as the EX model. It's just the EX model comes with a few more sounds, but you can create, so much stuff inside of the synth. And that's another thing I want to talk about too, is that you can actually use these synths to create whatever you want to create. Okay, so you can actually go in here. If you have something in mind, you can just create it. And you can build sounds inside of here and build your own collection of sounds inside of these synths. And you can do it fairly easy if you just know a few things and just kind of know your way around the board. But that's a huge thing with a lot of these newer synths. You can actually create sounds on your computer and then send the sounds into your board, and now you will have those sounds with that hardware sound. Another thing I want to talk about is compatibility with other drum machines. You might not be feeling the MPC. You might be feeling maybe something like, I don't know, the Machine Plus, or something like that. You can actually take this synth and you can hook it up to the Machine Plus, and then you can use it on that platform as well. You can use it with any type of pretty much drum machine that has MIDI, or you can use it with other MIDI keyboards to, control it or to be used in conjunction with those other boards. So having the power of this keyboard where you can make sounds, you can use it with not only MPC, but other drum machines or whatever. And then just being able to scroll through sounds and everything as well is actually a very good thing. Because, in the MPC, like the ones we have now, when you try to scroll through sounds, sometimes it might take 10 seconds for it to load up. On these boards, it's almost like instantaneous. You can go through the sounds and then, You can build kits, you can build certain scenes and stuff like that in there. So there's a lot of positives with having these digital hardware synthesizers. So that's what a lot of them are. I try to, deal with the ones that have like at least 16 MIDI tracks in it, no less than 8, pretty much like a workstation. And in that way, you can have the power of all of these sounds, because there's just a ton of sounds that come inside of these boards as well. They have pretty much anything you can think of inside of these boards, and then you can actually group these sounds up. You can add different effects to them. You can do everything that you can do on a computer inside these boards, but then have the power and the sound of hardware. That's some reasons why I would say yes. If you're somebody who likes the sound of it, who likes to be able to use this with other stuff, and you can get around on it pretty good, this would be something that you can definitely get to enhance your experience with the MPC. Now, let's talk about some reasons why you should not get a synthesizer with your MPC. Number one, the MPC comes with a ton of sounds that you can get separately. Now, they do have sounds that are in here. However, if you want to get like the Fabric XL, you want to get like the Odyssey, you want to get like the Native Instruments stuff, you're going to have to pay extra for that, but they're not that expensive. They sound really good, like really good. But as we all know, they do take a little time to load up, but they sound really good. A lot of times when I'm using like my MPC Key 37, I just use the sounds that are inside of the MPC Key 37. I've never hooked up my MPC Key 37 or my MPC Live 2 to an external keyboard at all, because I look at those as like traveling devices. Okay, so everything that I do that inside of the actual unit. And with like the Live 2, I'll just use like a MIDI controller, or in most situations, I just take my MPC Key 37. Like, it just makes more sense because it has the keys on it, and you can do everything with the MPC Key 37 that you can do on here. It's just that you don't have as much RAM on there. Another reason why you should not get like a hardware synthesizer or whatever is if you're mostly like a sampling style of producer. Now, if you're somebody who does not really play like that and you're a sample style producer, you can get a board. It does have some sounds in it, but if you're sampling like that, you're probably going to be sampling bass lines, you're probably going to be sampling snares, kicks, and maybe drum loops and stuff like that, and some other sounds. I don't think you're going to need it. And if you do get it, you're not going to use it that much, just to be honest with you. So if you're somebody who's a sample style producer who likes to chop samples and everything, I don't think you're going to need to go ahead and get a board, just to be honest with you. All right, another thing, if you're somebody who does not play like that, if you're not like somebody who can play chords and stuff like that, and you're not a person that's really like a deep diver when it comes to like creating sounds or whatever, you will be perfectly fine with the stuff that comes inside of the MPC. Like, to be honest with you, just having Fabric XL and having the Native Instrument sounds is pretty much all I would need. Just to be honest, there's a lot of great stuff in here, but just the Fabric XL and the Native Instrument sounds, that's all I need. And then with the Native Instrument sounds, it's so easy to make your own patches and save them and everything. I don't think you're gonna need, nothing too much. You can go in here and then you can use like the chord function and stuff like that, and the pad function to where you can create chords and stuff. That would be more than enough for people who are not like somebody who plays chords and stuff like that. Like, just use the stuff in here and it'll be more beneficial than you trying to learn the board and stuff like that. Another reason is cords and cables. Okay? When you buy this stuff, you're going to have to buy cords, you're going to have to buy cables, you're going to hook this up via MIDI. And then now with these new MPCs, with the new 3.0 update, they don't have certain features that were available in like the 2 point whatever. They don't have it to where you can use your MSB and LSB values to where you can go ahead and cycle through your sounds, and then the sounds are saved depending on what your MSB and LSB values are inside of the MPC, so that you don't have to save it on here and then save it on here as well on two separate devices. You can just save it on the MPC and the sounds will pull up from the board. But yeah, that's an issue. And then, just cords and cables, you're going to have to hook stuff up. You're going to have to run stuff through. It's just a whole nother process. Rather than you just making everything inside of the MP, you can go ahead and sequence everything, make it sound good, and just bounce it, or you can just bounce it directly from the MPC. Well, just not necessarily bounce it, but track it through your 1/4-inch cables into your pre's or whatever directly from the MPC without having to go through one thing and then go through something else and making sure the volumes and all that stuff is right. So it's more beneficial to people who want to just use the sounds in here. You don't have to get anything else but maybe like a MIDI controller. And all you have to do is it's basically plug and play. So once you just plug in the MIDI controller, go into settings and select it, you can just use the MIDI controller and just use the sounds inside of the MPC. And the sounds sound really good. All in all, one option is not necessarily better than the other. But I will say this, if you're trying to get something that has multiple tracks, I would say get like something like a workstation or something that at least has like 8 MIDI tracks that you can use if you are going to get a board. But if you're somebody who is content with the sounds that you can get with on the MPC platform, I don't think you need to spend $2,000 or $3,000 for a board. And then right now with the sounds that are inside of the MPC, they sound really good and they're cheap. A lot of these sounds you can get for less than $400 or $500 extra, and you can get pretty much everything that you need. And then if you want to get extra sounds, that'll just be just a little icing on top of the cake. Now, to be honest with you, I'm the type of person that likes to use boards. I actually have a board that's coming in today. I'm gonna try that out, but I just like the sound of the boards running into the MPC and then running out to my computer or whatever. But if you're not playing like that, and if you're somebody who is sampling or whatever like that, you don't necessarily need this stuff like that. The sounds in here are just as good. So that's my answer to what a lot of you guys ask me. And if you don't have to spend the money, don't spend it. I know I try to tell you guys to go to zounds.com a lot and get gear and stuff like that. But if you don't have to spend it, don't spend it. But if you're trying to get a really good hardware sound, I'm not going to say analog, I'm going to say hardware because I know y'all beat me up. Get you a board, run it through. But if you're cool with the sounds and everything that's in here and you like to sample it, you ain't got to get it. You'll be just fine. So I hope this answered your questions. Hope you guys learned something from it. And like I always say, peace out.